somber Monday afternoon in Paris, the city was shaken by the tragic news of the disappearance of South African Ambassador Nkosinathi Emmanuel Mthethwa. The 58-year-old diplomat, who had recently taken up his post in France, was reported missing, sparking immediate concern among both French authorities and the South African community. The search for him would soon lead to a heartbreaking discovery that would make headlines across both nations. This incident not only stunned the diplomatic world, but also raised many questions about the circumstances leading up to his untimely death. Disappearance of Ambassador Mthethwa was first noticed around 3 p.m. His absence was quickly reported to the police by his wife, who had last seen him earlier that afternoon. She mentioned that he was supposed to attend a cocktail event, but after leaving home, he did not return. The concern grew as hours passed without any word from him. Authorities began their search, piecing together his last known movements and reaching out to those who might have seen him. The sense of urgency was palpable, as everyone hoped for a safe resolution. Later that evening, Ambassador Mthethwa's wife received a message from him shortly after 9:30 p.m. In this message, he apologized and expressed intentions that deeply worried her. The contents suggested he was contemplating ending his life. This revelation added a new layer of urgency to the search, as police and family members feared for his safety. The message was a heartbreaking clue, indicating the ambassador was in distress and possibly planning a drastic action. Following morning, the search ended in tragedy. Around 11:10 a.m., a security guard at the Hyatt Hotel near Port Maillot discovered Ambassador Mthethwa's lifeless body in the hotel's inner courtyard. Investigators quickly arrived at the scene, beginning a thorough examination of the circumstances. The location and timing of the discovery provided crucial information for the ongoing investigation, as authorities sought to understand what had transpired in the hours leading up to his death. Investigators found that Ambassador Mthethwa had checked into the Hyatt Hotel about 10 days earlier. On the day of his disappearance, he arrived at the hotel just after 4:30 p.m. His room was located on the 22nd floor, and inside, police discovered that the window's security mechanism had been forcibly opened using scissors left at the scene. There were no signs of struggle, nor any evidence of medication or drugs, suggesting that the ambassador had acted alone in his final moments. Seeing together the timeline, authorities learned that Ambassador Mthethwa left his Paris home around 4:30 p.m. and headed straight to the hotel. His wife's last contact with him was the message received after 9:30 p.m. The next morning, his body was found, and the investigation began in earnest. This sequence of events helped police understand the ambassador's final hours and provided important context for their inquiries. Upon examining the hotel room and the scene, investigators found no evidence of a struggle or the presence of drugs or medication. The forced window and the scissors left behind pointed to a deliberate act. These findings led authorities to initially rule out the involvement of any third party, focusing instead on the possibility of suicide. The absence of external interference became a key point in the ongoing investigation. Paris prosecutor's office quickly opened an investigation into the causes of Ambassador Mthethwa's death. The case was assigned to the 1st District of the Paris Judicial Police, with the brigade specializing in crimes against persons initially handling the inquiry. Their goal was to gather all relevant evidence and clarify the circumstances, ensuring that every detail was thoroughly examined. Early findings from the investigation pointed towards suicide as the most probable cause of death. The evidence suggested that Ambassador Mthethwa had acted alone, with no signs of third-party involvement. However, the police continued to collect information, determined to understand every aspect of the case and rule out any other possibilities. The focus remained on uncovering the truth behind this tragic event. Before his body was found, authorities had traced Ambassador Mthethwa's phone to the 16th arrondissement near the Bois de Boulogne. This information helped narrow down the search area and provided additional context for investigators. The tracking of his phone was a crucial step, as it allowed police to reconstruct his movements and better understand the timeline leading up to his death. Nkosinathi Emmanuel Mthethwa was not just a diplomat, he was a prominent political figure in South Africa. As a long-standing member of the African National Congress, he held several key ministerial positions. From 2008 to 2014, he served as Minister of Police, then led the Ministry of Arts and Culture from 2014 to 2019, and later became Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture until 2023. His career was marked by dedication to public service and national development. At the beginning of 2024, Mthethwa was appointed as South Africa's ambassador to France. He also represented his country at UNESCO, furthering South Africa's interests on the international stage. His new role was seen as a continuation of his commitment to diplomacy and cultural exchange. The news of his death was met with shock and sadness by colleagues and officials both in South Africa and abroad. Loss of Ambassador Mthethwa deeply affected his family, friends, and the broader South African community. His wife, who had reported his disappearance, was left to cope with the sudden tragedy. The diplomatic community in Paris and officials in South Africa expressed their condolences, highlighting the ambassador's contributions and the void left by his passing. The incident also sparked conversations about mental health and support for those in high-pressure roles. While early evidence pointed to suicide, the Paris prosecutor's office emphasized that the investigation would continue until all facts were established. Authorities remained committed to gathering every piece of information, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing evidence. The goal was to ensure complete understanding of the circumstances and to provide closure for the ambassador's loved ones and colleagues. As the investigation continues, many are taking time to remember Ambassador Mthethwa's legacy. His decades of public service, leadership, and dedication to his country are being honored by those who knew him. The tragedy of his passing serves as a reminder of the pressures faced by public figures and the importance of support systems. His memory will live on through his contributions to South Africa and the international community.